Can I roll my closing costs into my purchase? Common question I get from a lot of buyers. The answer is you're not allowed to roll closing costs into a mortgage when you're buying a house, but technically there's a way around it with something called a seller's concession. So I'm going to use simple math here and explain what a seller's concession is. Let's say you're buying a house for $100,000 and closing costs are going to be $10,000. What you can do is make a negotiation with the seller to make the price of your home $110,000 instead of $100,000. This way, at the closing, the seller gets their $100,000, and that leaves you a $10,000 cushion that you can pay closing costs with. Now, what this does is it creates a little bit of a tricky situation because the contract cannot say $100,000. The contract now has to say the house sale is $110,000 with verbiage saying that within that purchase price, the seller is going to contribute $10,000 to the buyer's closing cost. On top of that, the appraisal now has to come in at $110,000. So the tricky part could be, if the house is really worth $110,000, would the real estate agent be selling it for $100,000? So there's a chance that the appraisal won't appraise for $110,000. So if the appraisal comes in at $100,000, you have no room to roll in closing costs. If it appraises for $105,000, you would have $500,000 to roll in. And if you're lucky and it appraises for $110,000, you'll have the full $10,000 to roll in your closing costs. With most transactions, you can get up to 6% of the purchase price. Some programs allow 3% or less. So give me a ring. I'm the expert in this. I have a whole chart and graphs if you want me to send you which programs allows you to get which percentage of closing costs. So the long answer is yes, you can, but it's a little tricky and it requires help of the agent and the attorney involved and the seller's cooperation. Mike Natter, 516-652-3073.